Find the quotient of these two complex numbers by using the trigonometric forms of the complex numbers. So we know that the complex numbers, we can get our trigonometric form. We need r, which is the absolute value. R is the square root of a squared plus b squared. So for z1, that's negative 3 root 2 squared plus, and then 3 root 2 squared. Well, that's the square root of, this is 9 times 2 is 18, plus another 18. So this is the square root of 36, which is 6. Similarly for z2, okay, r2 is the square root of a squared plus b squared. That's root 2 squared plus negative root 2 squared. Well, that's the square root of 2 plus 2, which is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So we have r1 and r2. We also need theta 1 and theta 2, and we know that tangent of theta 1, tangent of the angle is b over a. So that's 3 root 2 over negative 3 root 2. This is negative 1. And to find theta 1, I just need to think, well, when is the tangent of an angle equal to negative 1? And we need to think of quadrants here. This right here is a negative a and a positive b. So that's in our second quadrant. So in our second quadrant, tangent is equal to negative 1 at this angle that makes a 45-degree angle over here, which is 135 degrees. So theta 1 is 135 degrees. Similarly over here for theta 2, tangent of theta 2 is b over a. b is negative root 2 over a is root 2. So again, that's negative 1. Thinking of quadrants, z2 has a positive a and a negative b, so that's actually down here in the fourth quadrant. And that angle, where theta 2 is where tangent of the angle is negative 1, that's a negative 45 degrees, or you could think of it as 315 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and do the 315 degrees. I like positive angles. So I've got these two angles now. And I will say, of course, that you can pick any angle you want that where the tangent is equal to that number. I could have done negative 45 degrees. I could have even added a full revolution, a 360 degrees to this, and had 675 degrees. That would have been accurate. It would have been true. You just make sure you're not making any mistakes as far as finding those angles. Okay, now for the quotient, z1 over z2. The quotient of two complex numbers is r1 over r2 times the cis of theta 1 minus theta 2. So we'll just go ahead and plug in those numbers that we found. r1 is 6 and r2 is 2. And then cis of our angles, 135 degrees minus 315 degrees. And then we get, that's 3, and then cis of, this is what, negative 180 degrees. Okay, and then we can go ahead and evaluate. Okay, well, cis, that's cosine of the angle, cosine of negative 180 degrees, plus I times the sine of the angle, negative 180 degrees. And then we evaluate. Cosine of negative 180 degrees is negative 1. And sine of negative 180 degrees is 0. So this is just 3 times negative 1, which is negative 3.